Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. King the Builder, and if you cannot tell, this is gonna be a crazy fight! So, we have what is just a plethora, a surplus of human beings on the field right now. We are in S2-11, and before it gets too crazy, let me just show you the kingdoms that are 36, 52, 71, 83, and 89. We have GG83, GG13 versus UwUx and ArAx. So UwU and ArAx, or ArAx. Now, I'm hoping, because there's so many people right now on the field, that my updated settings, right, we ended up going to like 1.0 for render quality. Also, ended up doing 30 FPS. So I'm hoping, again, from some of the recent tests, right, it seemed as though it did help a little bit. However, I think there's just too many people on the field right now, and this is one of those situations where I'm almost foreseeing that we'll probably end up having to do a restart. In addition, I should definitely invest in a tablet so that way I can have a little bit better of, well, let's just say less lag, if you will. However, this is absolutely bananas. I mean, this reminds me of when we were doing the, oh gosh, what was it? It was back when it was, I can't remember if it was like Mephisto and Jason Gee back in season 1 plus, where, and you know, back when like 32 was there as well, with Chiz's group and BDX and Duz and them. And I just remember there just being hundreds of people in this open field valley, and it was just absolutely bananas. Thankfully, it seems like we're holding steady. I haven't seen any Hector All Grandes. However, I am somewhat skittish to actually move the camera. So again, we're just going to hope that as more units continue to die, that we will eventually get to a point. But thankfully, we could still see all the negative. We could still see all the negative red numbers, which is indicating primary DPS. We're also able to see all of the artifacts that are being popped off. We can also see the damage, right, for the negative purples that you're seeing on screen that are indicating the artifact damage being distributed, we'll say. So I think that is a good indicator thus far, at least because usually when I get to about this point, if not before now, typically we're already seeing a full lag out, right? And we're having to restart. So I'm actually pretty happy right now with just tinkering with some of the settings. So I don't know if it's the frames. Maybe it is just kind of lowering the FPS, lowering the render quality, maybe combining with that. Again, if you're someone who's been having more success on the PC client than I have been, I would love to know, right? If you're able to get to see big fights and essentially get it to a point where you could watch this on mobile or on tablet, and it's not that bad, holla at your boy, please. With that in mind, let's see some of the action. So, we have UwU and I'm trying to see where ArAx is, unless it's just UwU right now. Geez, dude, this is pretty dope right now. GG83 and GG13, what seems to be have a celestial flying squadron. This is pretty dope, I'm not going to lie. So this is something that we've talked about before, where it's one of the areas we'd love to see with the groups, or at least in the fights that we're seeing between unions or alliances, right, where you kind of have this flying battalion, if you will, and they're essentially just kind of flying around and doing a bunch of damage. Now, I don't know if we're necessarily seeing that right now, but it is cool to see that they have a flying group. Again, it does require a fair bit of micromanaging, especially if you have other units that are on the field and you're not only running pure flying, but it is cool to see, right? GG83 throwing the bear out. I mean, again, they're kind of getting hit from like what seems to be multiple areas. So GG83 and 13 dropping down the ramp, spreading out, going left, right? So that way they're at least being able to, I don't want to say force, but essentially put themselves in a wide area, right? Where they're not just kind of fighting in some kind of consolidated choke point, for example, similarly coming down the ramp. In addition, they could actually fight over here as well, unless maybe they just feel like yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. So we'll see. So I don't know where ArAx is. Maybe they're just at a different angle and we're not seeing them. So that's something that we'll have to pay attention to. GG83 throwing out the giant. I mean, they have a lot. I mean, right now it looks like, oh, never mind. We just saw an ArAx player right there. So yeah, most likely. I have to zoom all the way out here in a bit, just so we can see exactly where the positioning is. Usually, because I didn't know when the fight was going to start, wanted to be able just to kind of hang out and wait for units to start moving, so that way we could get you guys into the action right away. All right, with that in mind, GG83 and 13, wow, I mean, this is just massive, massive activity right now. And, man, again, being able to see so much PvP is bananas. Now, the giant bear getting thrown down, this is interesting. I don't know where bear is. Did we just miss the bear, or did the bear move? Let's see here. Hopefully the bear isn't lagging for me. Again, I'm shocked that we're not seeing a lot of lag. Maybe, oh, there it is, there it is. Killer was running the giant bear. So, you know, one of the things we often talk about when you are seeing the bear out on the field is that you typically have two ways to approach this. You either all in the behemoth with everyone on the field just to basically kill it as fast as possible, or what you do is you start kind of spreading yourselves out on the perimeter of the behemoth's reach, right? Because eventually once the cooldown finishes, you will be able to start re-engaging at that point. You can also hit the bear from distance, right? Because if you're outside of the ring, you can do that, in addition to still being able to do some PvP there as well, right? So, again, we have a bear here from 13. We got the bear there from 83. So you can see Noah's there. And then I can't remember if that was Killua that we were just looking at or someone else. Unless maybe I got the name mixed up and it wasn't Killua, or there was just a third bear and I totally missed it. But, geez, there is a lot. I mean, man, they are just coming down in hordes right now. So let's see real quick who we got on the boards for this. So we got the FSK group, I don't know where they are, but Arby we can look out for. Maybe Twin Flame, Tente, Kong, Drow, Double Down, okay, Omega Leno. Okay, we'll try and look out for some of those. Let's look at Power real quick. So, I don't know if FSK is fighting. Some people told me that maybe they weren't fighting before, and it's, because again, based on what I'm hearing, it is GG83, 13, and then it's UwU and ArAx, right? So, I mean, again, if you're looking at the numbers, you got 2.7 billion along with 5.7, so you're at 7, 8.4, 8.5, let's round. So you got 8.5 bill going up against 7.6 plus 4 even, so you're looking at what, 7 point, was it 8.5 we said? And then you have 11.6, 11.7. So, I mean, again, right, you're looking at about a 3 bill, 2.5 bill extension. Then if we look at the boards here for GG8313 versus UwU ArAx, you got one there. Twin Flame Tente are still up there. Kong, Drow, GG83, GG83. One more. Ooh, that's 3 we've seen so far between their groups, between the two alliances. There's a 4th right there in the top 25. 5 in the top 27. 6, 29. 7, 8, 34. 9, 39. Let's see here. 9, 10, 48. I mean, again, somewhat indicate. I mean, we'd have to do full numbers, but it does look as though it is leaning a little bit more kind of GG83 13, at least when it comes to players right now that we're looking going into the top 100. But this is one of those things where I'd love just to kind of sit down and look at what those numbers are, and maybe that's something I'll try and do before we start kind of doing other fights. Oh, hang on, let's look at some merits real quick. I always like looking at that, kind of just seeing who's top dogs right now. I Still Chicken is there. So, I mean, it looks like they're fighting. I mean, clearly with the amount of merits, maybe they're just on a different battlefront or something that's happening. Maybe they just did a lot of fighting in the beginning, and maybe it's just dropping off. I'm not sure this, so you guys have to let me know in the comments for that one. Let's look at Alliance merits. So GG83, I mean, FSK still there at number 2. UwU almost there. GG13, ArAx, so I mean, less than half. UwU, I mean, again, lots. DR89, okay. So not bad, not bad. Let's see what we got. So still GG8313 coming on the ramp. Still building out over here. Where's that little flying squadron? Ooh, wow. UwU applying some pressure. Giant Bear is almost down. Looks like Noah 10 is running that. UwU getting a little bit of some resurgence here. Once they get that done, I wonder if they're going to start refocusing here on the 83 Bear for Mr. Nice, who's controlling that. But, man, they're getting a lot more people. I wonder where ArAx is. I'm going to have to look there in a segment. You got some AFKers over here. Maybe they're reconnecting. Maybe good to see FSK being friendly. Still got some UwU. So, typically in this situation, it looks like they're actually decently trying to push back a bit here. So, one of the things we often talk about, right, and let me see if we can switch this jangle up here, and let's go. You guys already know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is Shazammers. Let's see if we can. Am I already full screen? I'm already full screen. At least I think I'm Already full screen. Let's do that. Okay, now we really full screen. All right, cool. So, typically, right, when we talk about this, I like that we're seeing a line somewhat being established. Same thing here. However, you do see the pocket lane between. So, one of the things that outside of the benefit you get from establishing an arc, so to speak, is that you can fight, right, from multiple different angles. Right, so you have a lot of different entry points that you can fire on, or you could say kind of firing lanes. It's one of the things that I often preach about when we're watching PvP, because it's so important to essentially reducing the amount of AoE damage you can take, and then hopefully being able to inflict more AoE damage on your opponents. Right, so as an example, you can see right here a little bit of a herd, right, a little herding, kind of some slight herded pockets here, but I mean, again, they're still spread decently, maybe not to the perfect or most ideal state, but that can sometimes be hard, right? When you have a lot of units that are on the field, a lot of players that are there, it just takes a higher level of coordination. But we have seen a few moments already, I should say, from both sides, where the spread kind of going wide, if you will, has actually looked decent. And to me, that is always a nice indicator that it's okay, hey, maybe we're communicating in voice, maybe we're on Discord, maybe we've already been distributed plans and steps on how to kind of execute those actions that we should be doing in-game. Whether or not they have some kind of on-field commander or general, right, that's using kind of text or emojis, for example, right, one of the things we've often talked about is using like a Celestial that just has like, you're just running basic speed, and then that's kind of your on-field or your point person, and then kind of everyone just knows. Divine Mercy getting thrown down, get a little bit of heal. Might have been a little bit too forward, but again, because you're at the bottom of the ravine, it's kind of difficult. UW, okay, looks like some more ArAx players coming into as well that we're seeing. Looks like they're pushing a little bit more here on some of the GG players, as again, now almost looks like we got about 20 left here getting pushed, and pointing out they're in a corner. This is actually smart, though, that I want to point out as a heads-up play here from GG, where they're essentially putting a lot of flying units here fighting from this angle, even if they're trying to have some, oh wow, look at this, then we got a bunch of people, and this is one of those things that plays actually into some of the advantages that you can find. If you have enough units and you're able to kind of section this off, GG83 is, or I should say the UwUx group, is actually doing a good job here when it comes to, if you can sectionalize this off and you can essentially focus all of your forces on hitting and removing a lot of the flying units here prior to the next group that is basically molasses slow walking down the ramp, having to curve and then come out here into the open area, it does create a situation where you're not now having to fight against as many troops. So if that's what they're doing and kind of what the focus is, which I guess part of it felt like it might have been that in moments, then I like that, because to me, I think that speaks to a little bit more tactical awareness on how you're playing out your situation, especially if you're noticing as heads up that, you know what, hey, even though they're pushing down the ramp, it's going to take a minute for them to actually get over here into kind of this open corner pocket. Let's focus on these flying units, right? Essentially, what you're trying to do is have the ratio. This is what we talk about, right? Playing the ratios, where you're looking for those 10v2s, those 10v3s, those 15 versus 5s, right? You're looking for it where you have a numbers advantages in multiple situations. And this is one of those cases where, excuse me, where's my agua? Where you can try to do that here in this pocket. I also like how they kind of created this pocket. I wonder if this was done intentionally, because if you think about it, they could actually run all the way here, right, to get behind. And this would probably be a better place for GG to fight from, unless they just don't care about the slow. The problem is that really where the slow is hurting you is it kind of does two things, right? One, if you're advancing or you're retreating, it can at times sectionalize off, or it can distribute. Not distribute. It can what's the word I'm looking for? It's essentially like an interval. It tails off. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Where if you're having 100 units that are coming down, right? So as an example, let me draw. Why am I trying to do this on the screen? So if you're having everyone come down here and they're going this way, you can find these kind of pockets if you're not having all the units that are together. Right? So you might have a situation where maybe it looks like this. Right? And then you're able to kind of utilize these spaces between the units that are coming down, where you can look to essentially fight or kind of pick and choose your battles at times. And that's something that obviously takes probably a little bit more heads-up awareness when it comes to being able to action that and call to that. But man, look at this, man. After they came down, UwU and ArAx being able to push GG back, at least until the next engagement, we should say. But, I mean, that was pretty awesome to see, man. Coming all the way down. And, I mean, look at this. They just still have so many people. I mean, it's like that game playing Where's Waldo, for you guys who remember that book, right, where you're trying to find the little person because there's just so many people on the page. I mean, this is pretty dope to see. And even on the other end, right? I mean, UwU, I mean, they have a lot of people. I mean, this is dope, man. This is really cool. One of these situations where, like, these are the moments I live for watching. When you just have so many people, there's so much great, constant, continuous activity, and we should say, refresh, or those that are willing to constantly resupply and then go back out there with that sustained fighting in PvP. I love seeing it. I'm always going to be a fan. Always, 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 man. Good stuff. So where are we at? We're at almost 16. We're at 16 minutes right now. Let me see if anyone's bugging me yet. Nope. Cool. So, look at that. Right when I say that, I hear a ping. Okay, but that's nothing. Good stuff. I mean, it's just not important at the moment. All right, where it's taking. Now, let's see real quick. I want to take a look. What are we seeing on numbers-wise? So, decent amount of infantry. We're seeing a lot of mage. Got some archers mixed in there. We actually have some cav. I mean, this is a pretty healthy group. With, of course, I guess somewhat of the outlier, not only at the outlier, but one of the things we expect, which is just seeing a lot of mage. However, again, I like that there's decent distribution here, along with, where's their flying? Didn't they have some flying, or is it over here? Oh, the flying actually looks like mages. See, that'd be cool if there was a different indicator. This would be cool if it was wings or something, right? So it didn't show the same thing. Maybe that could be an improvement for later. Let's go over here and take a look, excuse me, at the UwU ArAx group. So some infantry, a little bit, got some cav there, a lot of mage. Okay, decent mix of archers, okay. So this actually doesn't look that bad either. I mean, obviously, it looks like a few less units, just comparatively, right, if you're looking at all the numbers. But again, some are probably overlapping each other. I mean, this obviously just looks really dense, right? You're talking like Fangorn Forest versus whatever a lighter version of Fangorn Forest would be. But again, still great to see. One tail we get stuff done. Yeah, man. Let's say, hey, I mean, I gotta give some shout outs, man. Save the back and forth. Sure, that one too. All right, gotta give some love. Oh, also, I gotta give some shout outs real quick to, let me go back real quick if I can to my client just so I can pull up my, I gotta give shout outs to people who gave me a heads up. So Violator, I gotta give a shout out to, who let me know. Where else do I have? Kamikatsi, who let me know. Goblin, I believe he was streaming as well. I think he's at twitch.tv/goblin, just how it sounds. So definitely go check that out. He gave me an early shout out, so I appreciate. Let me see where else I got. I think there was a few other people. I had, it's so funny. The moment that it started going down, I had one person that let me know. And then right after that, 5 people let me know and had all these incoming message requests on the Discord. So it was actually pretty cool to see. I always appreciate too as well, right? I really do. Anyone that is willing to kind of go out of their way and even just shoot me a ping, just people that just, somewhat randomly just message me. I very much appreciate, just because if I'm able to come and record, right, I always try to. Sometimes I'm not always in the position to, but nonetheless, I always do appreciate anyone who's willing to shoot me a ping. Let me see who else. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone here who did let me know. JK let me know. What else I got here? Undead Terror let me know. And then I think Steph. Let me see. Oh, never mind. No, that's for S2-3. So I think we're okay there. I'll have to see what's going to be happening. Oop, did someone say? Be ready. After 3 hours, they go so 3 again. Let's see. I got a few more people. Yeah, and then I'm also, I'm also getting people that are messaging me. Excuse me. About, I know a bunch of people have been asking me, hey, boss, when are you going to do your next ranking videos? And I did tell people, because if you look at the season, oops, hang on, where do I have to go? We'll go here. So, sorry. Dear Lord, if it opens for me. Here we go. So we look at the season, right? We got 11 days left until Titan's Legacy finishes. So I've been telling people probably within about a week is when I'm going to do my next big, like, top 25 rankings, just because a lot of the season 2 kingdoms will be close to the end of their, we're talking like 1 through 90. In addition to, it'll also allow some of the other kingdoms and groups to have some time before it ends up getting to the next. Well, I should say some more time to develop, right? So it allows for them to kind of get a little bit farther in their kingdom timelines. Let me see what else we got. One tower, final zone. I can't remember who let me know. Oh, I might have to go look at S2-3. Some people were telling me that Nephisto's kingdom is has some action going on. Oh, let's see here. 11:20. Pushing a couple minutes. That's your watching. Okay. Depending on when y'all go, it may still be here. Yeah, we'll see. Again, I don't want to wait too long, so we'll see. If nothing happens, maybe in the next, because again, we're pushing 22 minutes right now. You guys know me, right? I like that kind of 20 to 30 minute range for those of you that want to get a lot of PvP viewing in. Just because for me, I'm not really big on doing a lot of my video cuts. Most of you know I'm pretty much just Mr. One Take. Unless it really warrants it, of course, then I'll do some kind of light cutting if needed. Let's see what we got here. Seaman, hopefully it's nothing bad. When to log into. Same person. I wonder if he means my scouts. You referring to my S156 scout? If so, then yes, same person. E3 fruits, like, be ready. Oh, hang on, I gotta get some shout outs over here too as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, when I said start up, hi mom, Kengar. I'm on YouTube. Mitt, what's up? Windcheck, what's up? Always good stuff, man. Always. Oh, here we go. Okay, hang on. It might be starting. Let's calm down. Told you guys, man. I'm always excited to watch some PvP. So I really love the PvP, and I'll tell you this: the biggest reason why I enjoy so much watching PvP in this type of a kingdom builder for Call of Dragons versus others is that, one, in my opinion, there's just no comparison, right? You have true ranged PvP here in COD. You have flying units. You have the ability to have on-field structures like the barricades that you're seeing, keeps, etc. These are things, the artifacts, skill usages, these are things that I think is really making the Kingdom Builder scene a more complete game. And I also believe it makes it a more competitive game on the PvP side as well. So for me, in my opinion, unless games are doing everything that Call of Dragons is doing at a minimum. Now, again, you can maybe argue the on-field structures, but again, they would at least, in my opinion, the number one thing they would absolutely have to have is true ranged PvP. If you do not at least have true ranged PvP, regardless if you have flying, if you have the artifacts, if you have the on-field structures to build, at minimum, that to me is what's setting the standard, right? You need to have that. Okay, so this is actually pretty cool here. This is dope. Wow, Royal Punishment's coming out of Tingling Flying, Vicious Strikes, terrifying. There's just so much negative purple artifact damage that is going on. This is actually such a dope heads-up play. If this is what UwU is doing, where they're basically blocking GG83 and 13, at least for that temporary moment, right, from putting units in front to essentially hive them or herd them up into like a kill box, and then they just start jamming out their artifact skills. Now, I don't know if that's what happened. That's what it looked like. And if that is the case, I absolutely love that. I think that was such a next level, high IQ level play that I want to see more of. That, in my opinion, is how you do it. That's how you block them from coming in. And if they're not paying attention or able to maybe make those quick micro adjustments, then they're just going to keep piling into that kill box, and then you just have to give it 1, 2, 3 seconds, and then everyone just jams out their artifacts. Or you wait until your artifacts pop up and you all focus on that one area. I mean, that I'm sure it's a way to maybe get like 10, 15, 20 kills in a very short amount of time, if not maybe instantly, depending on the artifacts that everyone's using in that moment. But that was actually dope. At least, again, from how it looked at face value, those are the types of tactics and strategies I love seeing. Because, one, at that point, you're kind of just thinking outside the box, right? You're doing things that are kind of either taking advantage of what, some of the mechanics are in game, but you're also having to organize them. And most of the time when you have this amount of people on the field, it's not always the easiest. So, kudos, man. Again, like I said, if that's what happened, that was awesome to see. All right. So GG83 and 13 are just coming down in hordes, UwU. We're going to see what the focus is going to be here on, okay, are we going to get a little bit of the same? Are we going to get a little bit off? Now, again, you see the lines here, right? This is not bad. You're kind of seeing a little bit of a line. This is what I like to see. If you have a little bit of an arc, regardless of how deep the arc is or not, and you're able to essentially have these types of situations being created, that's what I like to see. Right? So the formation here for GG83-13, this is ideal, right? Again, we could be spreading a little bit more because you have a little bit of room over here. You also have a little bit of room here. Okay, never mind. So it actually looks like they are pushing this a little bit more on the southern ranks. However, if UwU is able to kill off this group, really, a big part of what you have to look at is maintaining the choke. Right? This is the choke coming down the ramp. If you can essentially get control of this, where you're kind of hitting the units, you're focus firing them 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 as they're coming down the ramp with your group, this can essentially cut off the resupply that's going this way, right? So if you're having, I'll show you right here. So if you're having these players coming down here, you want to try and look at focusing on this area, right? You want this to be your kill box. And what that's going to happen is it's going to cut off the resupply, right, that's going this way. And so that's one way that you can look at it. Again, it requires you to split up your groups. It requires you to have a lot of focus and attention on who are you attacking, how are you spacing the floor, if you will, if I want to use a basketball term, but really it's important when you think about spacing the open field. And again, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening here, but we are back to just more massive PvP and fighting that you already know I absolutely love. It is interesting to me, GG83's, the GG group's take here against UwU and ArAx is where, hey, we're going to focus on removing barricades and then maybe we're just going to have a protective group is the play. Or if everyone that is out here is fighting and aware of what's going on, maybe they're saying, okay, well, we're just going to keep removing barricades, and the moment that you start getting closer, we'll get off the barricades and we'll start fighting. I mean, that really is the best type of case to see. I gotta write some names. I still have to write these names down for people that we're seeing here on the. So we got RB, Twin Flame, Double Down, Kong, Tente. I'm about to try and look out for some of these people. Let me see if they're here. I bet you someone's already found them. After I mentioned this, everyone's like, "Boss, you missed it. It was like so 10, 15 minutes ago in the last fight." Let me see. Excuse me. I have no idea what's happening with the throat. We were out last night pretty late. I think we got back in at around 1:30 in the morning. We were celebrating our cousin's birthday, and we ended up going to this Latin lounge that does like small plates and has a dance floor. It was actually pretty dope. And there was this Latina woman there who was, I'll just say Latina, Hispanic / just to cover our bases. And apparently she was a singer, and I guess she was debuting her music video that comes out in a week. And I guess they were doing a little debut there, so it was busier. And the party was lasting a lot longer than I guess it usually does, from what we ended up finding out. So it's pretty cool. I will say, I did some ballroom growing up as a kid that my mom put me in. However, my hips totally lie. I wish my hips would not lie. And however, I am always happy to go out on the dance floor, even though it might be a little embarrassing for my lady. It is never for me. I'll always have a smile on my face, and I always try. I always make an effort. Is what I like to tell them. So even though I'm sure a decent amount of the laughs were directed in my way from some of the family members because they're just cutthroat like that, I still had a blast, I'll say. And the sangria, I don't know if anyone here who enjoys some sangria, if you do enjoy a beverage, we'll say, it was actually pretty good. So I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. However, my lady's dad actually makes a phenomenal sangria. It's a little more fruitier, a little lighter, but the one we had last night was actually pretty awesome. Okay, that's enough of just random IRL talk. People don't show up here for that. People show up to see the madness that's happening right now in the game. Ooh, Cyclone Blade being thrown out. Don't know if I've seen one of those in the field yet. That Strike a Light. UW spreading a time bomb getting thrown out. Divine Mercy heal that's getting dropped right there. Right, 8 seconds, 2-second intervals. I believe it heals up to 4 or 5 now. Remember, Divine Mercy used to actually heal up to 10 people. So awesome. However, to me, I almost feel, we've talked about this a little bit, I actually would like to see Divine Mercy get a little bit of a buff. I think some people have been mentioning that. Would love to see. Ooh, that Shadow Games, though. Gosh, -20, -15K. That was sick. Counter Shadow Games there from Jayu. Not bad. UwU. So this is what we're talking about, right? I love how they're kind of putting the pressure here and kind of forcing them into this corner. I'd like to still see a little bit of a spread, maybe not going eastward, but going westward over here to the mountain, even if it's just putting a few more people there. However, this isn't bad. Geez, that -16K damage, that ground pound coming down there. Again, some -1Ks that you're seeing. Oh, so this is, okay, so I like this here. This is a cool GG heads-up play where they're saying, hey, we're going to go up on the mountains, and then we'll just kind of fight you. Oh, interesting. This is pretty cool. I wasn't actually paying attention to this. How deep have they gone? Are they hitting the back line? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. One of the things I would have loved to see GG do is take their flying squadron, right? Maybe if you want to leave some, but I would say like take 10 or 12, 10 to 15 of your flyers, head down this head down this mountain pass, get about here, and then start attacking all these people on the back line. That would be sick. Obviously hitting them one by one, but using the mountains to go in and out. That's one of the things I really would love to see. Now, maybe that was happening earlier, and again, because I just can't be viewing everything. It's one of the reasons why I'd love to be able to zoom out more. Like, even if I could zoom out 2 or 3 more clicks from where we're at right now, I would be so happy with that, where I could still see the fighting, and it wouldn't immediately go just to showing me the player icons. But that's something I'd love to see from the flying squad. Let's see what we have happening down here. Was UwU and ArAx able to regain? Okay. Looks like they were able to do a little bit of regaining here. GG80, the GG group, though, still heavy. Now, I'm going to be honest, right? I love that they're just doing a bunch of back and forth. So, like, look, we're just going to send everyone out, and then we'll just see what we can do. Stay out as long as we can. And then, you know what? Even if we get pushed back, let's just go again. It's just, I'm cool with that. Right, compared to, and again, I think it's an okay strategy, right? Unless you want to constantly just have a sustained or a consistent level of resupply that's happening in a real-time 24/7 situation where you're just constantly keep funneling people in, no matter what, then again, that's one way to play it as well. But again, I'm not mad at this. I like that we're able to see a lot of heavy fighting. And even if it's, still at a stalemate, I mean, eventually if you keep this up long enough, right, you'll probably get someone who's going to kind of break through on one way or the other. However, I do think there are some strategic and some tactical opportunities on both sides that we could be seeing when it comes to trying to kind of break through. I think in UwU and ArAx's case, first one, right? It probably will take a little bit longer just because obviously with the low ground versus the high ground and the choke and what seems just to be, some really good sustained activity. I mean, obviously you don't see them going up the ramp, but it's more of them defending. So I think that's pretty indicative of, just a little bit more of a kind of an uphill battle. Okay, now, before we finish off, let's look around real quick because I remember I didn't see, where is ArAx? Are they over here in red? No, they're not. Where are they green? Maybe they're green. Yeah, they are. So they're green. But I don't know if I see anything. Yeah, I see they're GG. Okay, yeah, so yeah, they're basically the only thing I would maybe say, and I guess it just depends. I think I would actually have liked to seen ArAx maybe get one more flag up just so they can put more people, or even if purple covered this area and just let ArAx come up a little bit more, just so their resupply wouldn't be as far. I guess you could say. Yeah, this is it. Who's this over here? Oh, these are just more GG people that are coming in. Okay. Yeah, because I think when we looked last time, we didn't see FSK anywhere, but I think some people were telling me that that maybe they got pushed out. I don't know. Is this FSK? Let's see. Oh, it is. Here we go. So FSK does have this. Interesting. Are they pushing this, though? Who is this? This is DR89. Okay. So FSK's here at this pass, but they're not... Okay, they're just not, I guess, not just pushing out. I wonder... Well, I don't know. Again, I'm not exactly sure on the whole situation. I know they said that there was a... From what I remember, people were saying they were fighting a lot in the beginning, and then... I don't know if something happened or whatever it may be, but again, someone will have to let me know. Someone had told me before, but I think it was just a short conversation that I had, and I'm going to be honest, I am blanking. I'm drawing such a hard blank right now. So with that in mind, let me know. Right? Let me know what's going on there. Outside, I gotta get a screenshot here real quick so I can have our guy. Let me see here. Let's go. Oops. Let me go back. I wonder if I can get a close-up here, if there's a little bit more action. Here we go. I wonder if I could do this. This would actually be pretty cool. I wonder if I could send... One thing, man, I'd love to be able to remove this interface. Just like the interface that's around, and just have minimal stuff here. So you can just, have a little bit more, see more of the war. See more of the fighting. Or the PvP focus. Because I can only imagine, I wonder how many people have a situation that arises where you're fighting and you accidentally click on something that you didn't want to click on just because the interface is there, and that maybe affects your PvP. If that's ever happened to you, I'd love to know. With that in mind, I think this is where we're going to call it. So we're almost at 40 minutes. This has been awesome, just back and forth PvP with whatever it is, 100, 200 people on the field. I mean, this is a lot. So listen, just want to give a shout out, man. Thank you guys so much for giving me a ping, letting me come and watch the awesome action. We'll definitely try to come back if I find some time in the future. As most of you know, I really try to diversify and cover as many different kingdoms as possible. However, if there ever just feels like there's a little bit of a slow, kind of period, then I'm always down to come back and, get as much PvP as I can, regardless of where it is. For anyone that is here in the kingdom fighting, I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on how the PvP has been going? Have you been enjoying the action and the back and forth? Do you feel like, maybe it is getting a little bit closer to that type of tail end where, someone eventually is going to be pushing through? Let me know whatever you guys are thinking, and any details that you want to provide or any additional context that you'd like to add that maybe I just didn't cover or just don't know, right, at this moment in time. In those comments below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.